The Cornell method of note taking is meant to help you structure your notes in a way that is more organized for you to refer back to. But before I get into exactly how you can apply this method to your own notes, first I want you to take a second to think about what the notes that you take in class already look like. Do you have a difficult time deciphering the important information in your notes? Do you have a hard time reading through your notes when you have to study? Do you have to rewrite your notes because they're messy? Do you try and write down word for word what your professor says in class and then have a hard time keeping up with your notes? And sometimes you're so focused on the notes that you're taking that you're not actually truly listening to what your professor is saying? Essentially, do your notes look something like this? Or would you say they look like this? This is a brief example of what notes may look like in a general biology class. The example on the left-hand side has the exact same information as the example on the right-hand side, but as you can see on the left, it is less organized and harder to read and process. The right-hand side, though, uses the Cornell method and is much more organized and just makes it easier for you to learn and study those concepts. So in order to achieve organized notes like that, you first want to divide your notebook page so it looks like this. Basically, it's kind of like an upside down uneven T-chart. So on the right-hand column, which is the bigger section, you want to take your class notes. So here you'll write down those main points, try and use bullet points, abbreviate, paraphrase, anything just to help ensure that you're not writing down everything word for word, and also just try and keep it spaced out and neat. And then here in the left-hand column, you want to write down those key concepts, which are basically the main ideas or those vocab words. These will help you find that information when you go back to review while studying. You just want to make sure that these key concepts line up and correlate with the notes in the right-hand column. Then after class, you want to do the summary and questions. So you just want to summarize what you learned in your own words and also keep track of any questions that you may have in order to fill in any gaps in the information. So back to this general biology example, you can see here in the left column, those key concepts are biology, organism, and evolution. And then the right column are the notes about those topics. And that's basically just their definitions. Then at the bottom, you can see there are two questions. What is a mechanism and what is natural selection? So those two terms come from the key concept definitions. So you would also want to define mechanism and natural selection just to help you have a full picture of those key concepts and totally understand what they are and what they mean. And then you can see I just have a brief summary in my own words of what the definitions of these key concepts are. And it's important to be able to explain things in your own words because when you do that and are not copying verbatim from your professor, it just helps you learn the material better.